if they play aggressive as they did last time.
Yeah, it's a competition that I've seen work really well. You get Crawl, go Bonesaw first item, Kestrel go full crit as you normally would, and then even though it's double weapon power, Crawl can build up those Bonesaw stacks for Kestrel, then he builds a breaking point and he will ramp up his own damage. So that could work really well, but maybe they don't want to give away their entire composition now. They might pick up the Captain. I was expecting a Catherine more than a Grace, but they've gone for the Protect this Kestrel with those Divine Interventions. So it will be tough for Blackfeather to execute the Kestrel, but definitely will be possible. I think a double dive comp is the best way to go for Elite here. They go something like a Alpha, maybe a Catherine to counter Kestrel, or a Reza, Ozo even, just dive in on this Kestrel.
Well, with Lyra and Arden off the fold, I do think the Grace pickup is a very good one. You've got the aggression that would be in the same kit of Catherine, and have Benediction into Holy Nova. Of course, it's not a guaranteed stun like Merciless Pursuit if you're able to land it. But in this case, you do have what you mentioned, the Divine Intervention to heal up Kestrel in case Blackfeather gets to that back line. And they're going to follow through with a Fortress pickup, so trying to fight aggression with aggression here by the looks of it.
Yeah, that is an interesting pick. Looking at the API, Fortress has actually had a really high win in Vainglory in most regions. He's about 55%, which I did not expect when looking up those stats, because he just doesn't seem to be played at all in the competitive scene. Especially, he doesn't seem to win a lot. But it's a great counter to Kestrel. That attack of the pack will follow Kestrel when she goes invisible. Really annoying to try and Glimmer Shot through that. You have to waste 3 basic attacks before, or a basic attack and 2 Glimmer Shots to try and deck down those wolves. So it's a smart pick. And their last pick, I still think Dive is the way to go. Josh has been paused though, so we'll hopefully be able to reset that last pick and figure out what it's going to be. I think that as they've gone for the Fortress, I would highly doubt it's anything except Dive. So it's going to be maybe a Koshka even, Alpha, or Ozo Reza. I think those are the 4 main picks for Elite 8 here.
It definitely could be. There's no real balance in that team comp. They don't have any kind of real holding power in a fight. They just have to jump in and follow through with that. So I agree with you there. They really have to just continue with that aggression. It could always be a jungle fortress. We could see a CP fortress come through. But I mean, they've got quite a flexible team comp as it is with the Black Feather pickup. It doesn't necessarily have to be weapon power or crystal power in this case. So we will see what they go for as they are resetting that picks, going back through the Lyra ban and the Grace pick, and Fortress, I believe, is where we were at, waiting for the third and final pick from the side of Elite 8.
Yeah, I suppose they could go for the Jungle Fortress and then go for a twin last pick as the captain. That would be do a lot of countering to Kestrel. You've got Fortress with the Wolves, Catherine with the Storm Guard, Blackfeather with Dive. Kestrel becomes kind of useless, and then Impunity's composition revolves around their last pick, their Crystal Power Jungler, whoever that's going to be. So that is a different way that Elite 8 could try and draft this. They're going to go, yeah, as you said, with the Lance, but we still don't know what's going where. We've got a Lance that can be played captain or weapon in jungle or even in lane, probably not against Kestrel though. Got a Fortress that can be captain or crystal, and a Blackfeather that can be lane, jungle, weapon or crystal. So this is the idea from Elite 8, is don't give away your composition and also leave yourself some flexibility depending on what the last pick is from Impunity.
However, I do think it's more than likely this weapon power Blackfeather in the lane, because as you said, weapon power Lance going up a Kestrel won't fare as well. So I think that's the more expected draft, but you're right, if need be, they can always mix it up. But how do you think Impunity are going to finish off their comp now?
Well, I think that they've really just need to protect the Kestrel, so it might make sense for them to pick a Bruiser as their last pick. And Ozo would work great against this Fortress, not great against the Lance. That's the real problem that they've got. So I think as up against Lance, Alpha is a really fine pick. It's good against Fortress. You have that early game power spike with your level 2, which Fortress really lacks. But I don't think they're going to go. I don't like the Samuel pick. It can work. That we know they're really good at playing Samuel. We saw it in the last game. But I would have really preferred to see someone to protect this Kestrel and be more of a frontline bruiser. But they've gone for the double poke comp once again. It worked before, so they're going to try it again.
Yes, although in this case, it's Kestrel doesn't have that stacking. It's just more burst, or at least the more meta build of now is to go that of the burst Kestrel rather than say build a breaking point onto Kestrel. And it is still poke at the end of the day, and a fair amount of it with the weapon power glimmer shots. Like, you should not underestimate them. So I think they still have a good team comp set up for themselves, but you're right. I am a bit skeptical of the Samuel pickup just to round off that comp. I think overall it's not a bad pick in its own, as we saw previously. Samuel was put to very good use. So we'll just have to see how this match plays out. It's going to be up to whether, once again, Elite Eight playing, both teams actually playing a fairly similar comp style in a lot of ways. Elite Eight, once again, looking to dive in on the enemy. Just this time, they have to be much, much more aggressive, like that of Impunity in the previous match.
Yeah, they've gone all out on the dive comp this time. They've not gone for one poke hero as Kestrel, so if the dive doesn't quite work, they can still do that strategy. All out, they have to dive in, they have to kill someone quickly, and they certainly can with this Fortress, giving Blackfeather movement speed, Blackfeather Faint of Heart giving him movement speed, and Lance Combat Roll makes them all very mobile heroes. So it will be tough for Kestrel and Samuel to run away. But this game, I don't expect to see Samuel doing Drifting Darks forwards. In the last game, he'd get nice poke with Malice and Verdicts with the Vox. Then he'd go aggressive with the Drifting Dark, which led to that snowball that we saw and the 13.5-minute game. Whereas this game, it's much more likely to be Drifting Dark backwards, much more defensive. Let them try and dive in, and then you get Grace, use her Holy Nova, get a couple of stuns. Then Divine Intervention, Samuel, one on Kestrel. They should just survive as long as possible. But Blackfeather just has to go all in, all guns blazing, dive in. Fortress can keep up because he's Fortress. Lance might be a little bit behind, but he still shouldn't be too far away with those impales. And so that really is the win condition for Elite 8. It's going to be tough to do because we know how good Impunity are on poke comps.
Yes, and we are into the second match between Elite 8 and Impunity. And for those of you just joining us now, Impunity, who took that first match with Storm, finishing it about, I believe it was 13 minutes. Not sure about the seconds. We'd say around 47 or so. That just seems like a right number with Impunity. Taking that match so quickly. They got so much off of it. It was more so Elite 8 trying to dive in one after another into Impunity, and they were just able to get the resets correctly, because usually it's quite tough, even for, as we mentioned, Soul comps to even push him that quickly into the final two turrets, just because the death timers are too short.
Yeah, that really is a problem where when you're trying to finish those games earliest, that the enemy can just back to their base if you're trying to push down those two Vein Crystal turrets. If you don't get the kills, which they did manage to do, then you've been in trouble. A fight, and I think he's going to go down.
The first blood between that of an empowered Malice and Verdict and a Glimmer Shot. Death Q getting the credit for it, so the Glimmer Shot will be the end deal. And now we see that Impunity have pushed Elite 8 out of their own jungle, should be able to get the front away from them for this and the outer Treant, but they are going in aggressive, and this is Impunity as playing before. They played their previous poke comp aggressively, and they're doing it once again. However, this time we'll just have to see if Elite 8 can respond with equal or probably more aggression needed.
Yeah, but the problem is Elite 8 are terrible early on. This Fortress has such slow jungle clear. What have you seen now, Cresta Joyce? That sounded like a moment of realization.
No, Queasy almost losing to the outer Treant, but no, he will be fine. Continues on. Meanwhile, Grace picking up Anime Save Me, and Impunity. What are you doing? You are just out of this world right now. I don't know how to put into words.
I mean, the bonus for Elite 8, let's look on the bright side. Hunyegers is farming as well as Death Q. He's on a very similar CS. And what is going on? Hunyegers is basically dead. Protector contract going to come through. I don't think it'll be enough. And Portimar's trying to 1v1 at Fortress.
Fight in the jungle as Portimer goes down to official high. They almost have it, but Hunyegers so very low. Oh my god, kills just across the board everywhere. The Treant taking a big stretch for himself. He's a bit stressed out as I am with all this going around in different parts of the fold. Meanwhile, you mentioned up in lane, DefQ just taking Hun Jaegers on that Black Feather so very low. Does have the CS advantage 22 to 16, so good job by doing that. And Queasy as well. Now, after taking this out of Triumph, if he's going to do so, we'll be seeing it 18 CS over to 7 on official Hein.
Look
So
at Quarterfire as well.
paying off with this aggressive start.
Quarterfire is just constantly running towards Fortress Jungle. He's get another away. He's just going
man.
always so aggressive, and if time is so slow at farming that there's nothing he can do about it.
I'm surprised Quartervore didn't pick up either a Crystal Bit or Weapon Blade early on to try and just be that much more aggressive, because it really works out well with the Retribution perk that Grace has available to him. And it means generally we see a lot of Grace comps playing aggressively and pushing aggressively on that first push. Not always as aggressive as what we saw there, but look at this. Drifting Dark coming through. The first turret already under half health, and so are the members of Elite 8, and there's going to be Quartervore going in with the Benediction. No follow through just yet, but the turret could fall, and they get it 3 minutes 50 in, I believe, a very similar to time to what they did in the previous match, and just slowly poking down the enemy. But surely DefQ might be up to pick up the kill on Hun Jaegers, but there's going to be more on point. They will get Anime Save Me instead. An official Hein with no jungle to declare for himself is just roaming around like a sad little dog. He will find that DefQ, but I'm not sure if that is who you want to find. As you say, Fate indeed, and he is going to have to back out of that.
Yeah, so DefQ, a bit low, but he used the Healing Flask to make Fortress jump in and then run away quite quickly. Fountain picked up by Quartervore. He's working towards quite a lot of vision to keep control of this map. Anime Save Me still working towards his 300 gold away. DefQ's picked up a Soul Blade, so this is a nice early power spike. Black Feather's going for Serpent's Mask, which is a risky decision, because in this patch 2.9, Vapourism does not stack anymore, which is the old lifesteal. So if you get Serpent's Mask, he cannot get Poison Shiv, or else it would be a waste of gold. Because all Poison Shiv would give is a little bit of attack speed, a little bit of weapon power, and a mortal wound. It would not give him that 8% lifesteal that it used to give, or that it still does give, because he's picked up a Serpent's Mask. So this means Grace's healing going to be completely full if she ever hits level 6, because the game might even end before Grace hits level 6. Double infused for Impunity. I think this tier 2 type might be in ruins quite soon.
Yes, it might be indeed, as we see the push coming through from Impunity. Elite 8 once again gathered around this, but there's going to be the Impale landing onto PC. Anime Save Me going very low on the backline, and there's going to be the Oblivion to put them and Black Feather to sleep. But DefQ getting poked down by those on points, needs to be careful for himself. Quartervore is still around with the Holy Nova, but Benediction was not up. If they decide to jump in, one shot, one kill, not going to pick up Anime Save Me. I think he'd be too tanky anyway. But with official Hein deciding to go for his backs, he knows he's behind in farm, but they are going to lose the turret to that, as Impunity taking it and taking more farm in their lead, and now pushing through Queasy using the Drifting Dark, and Elite 8 don't want to go anywhere near that fight.
Yeah, Fortress deciding that the backs are more important than the turret, which I guess is a fair point, because the turret's going to fall pretty quickly anyway, so he might as well try and secure his jungle, because if he didn't, then he knows Samu would have taken it with that Grace. And this time, Queasy's gone for a very different Samu build. Shatterglass first item. I think this is just for that siege. He knows he doesn't need the sustain of Eve of Harvest. He's probably not going to be able to ramp up his Dragon's Eye very much, so as they are ahead, they know they're ahead, they are about 4,000 gold ahead, just try and burst someone down with this Kestrel, and if they die and dive you, you've got your Grace, give you a bit of shield, one shot on Queasy for some reason, and Official Hein is going to try and go in, but Black Feather is now infused, so Elite 8 might be looking to fight.
Yeah, they might indeed, and Black Feather's really the key to their composition here, as Official Hein went for the Storm Crown first, so isn't going to be doing much damage into these fights. He has a crystal bit and a weapon blade picked up alongside that, so really just if anything to help tank up damage as well and just apply on hit effects. But we'll see what happens here as Kestrel picking up the first kill. There's the divine intervention, just keeping them in the fight. Official Hind soon to fall after, and it looks like Hun Jaeger's the only one left standing, using both of his Rosa offensives to get out of there. And the anchor turret just going to go down to Impunity 7 minutes 30 in. Meanwhile, Grace doing a good job of making sure Hun Jaegers was not able to back to do any job of saving that.
Yeah, smart play by Quadivore. He didn't let himself get caught out under Sentry trying to chase Black Feather. He just made sure the Black Feather couldn't port home, and then helped him to get that turret, get the Sentry as well. Grace has managed to hit level 6, so Impunity haven't ended the game that early. And once Kestrel got that ultimate, it's just impossible to burst her down through that with the damage reduction. And then 500 heals. Kestrel just sat on top of an active camo trap, waiting for you to try and dive her with full health because she's just got a heal. So it's disaster. Hun Jaegers cannot do anything. Anime Saving was the first to fall in that fight. And it looks like Elite 8 trying to be aggressive, but I think Impunity will turn this around pretty quickly.
Yep, they might indeed, as Quisi joining in on the fight is be up there in the lane, just making sure no funny business going down, as Impunity just patrolling the area. And right now Elite 8 are going to just hope to not be spotted out. If anything, they could try go for a gold mine steal, at least if Lance is able to pull it off once again. But the poke this time, Impunity making sure if Lance gets near it. No, it's gonna go over again. Impunity give it in to the Elite 8 Anime Save Me on that Lance. Oblivion did drop, but didn't put anyone to sleep there, as Black Feather going to get taken down by the Kestrel. And Kestrel, good movements there to dodge out the Impale, kiting back Official Hind on this fortress, gets the double kill. Anime Save Me running away, and Quisi on the chase. One shot, one kill, comes out for the triple. The style points for Ace, and Impunity are going to take for Crystal Sentry with them to push their gold lead even further. Probably not going to end off the back of this one like they did previously so early on. Is 24k over to 17.9, however, at only 9 minutes 30 in.
You never know, they might actually push this. If they get another ace, it could take a 10-minute game against Elite 8. Back to the back, not up for 8 seconds. And Impunity looking to do what they can. They've got a massive wave of ace buff minions, and they have a lot of damage.
Oh my, the damage on those Malice and Verdicts, the empowered Malice and Verdicts onto Hun Jaegers and Anime back instantly. They're not able to defend.
They're going for it.
And Impunity pushing onto the second turret. They still have that one ace minion up, and it might be enough, but there's going to be the engage coming out from the side of Elite 8, and Fortress the first one to fall to the Kestrel. Hun Jaegers on the backline trying to do what they can do, but they can't do much as they get knocked up by the Holy Nova. One kill, just pushing Anime Save Me further into that hole known as his base. The Oblivion being used to make sure he doesn't even come out. Anime Save Me lost all the will to fight at this point, knowing there's nothing he can do. The MVP can't even do nothing. Crystal Sentry useless. And there's going to be a 10-minute, 30-second game coming out from Impunity after that first match. And when we saw the aggressive comp drafted from Elite 8, we thought maybe a change of pace, maybe a change of heart, but no. Impunity play